Hello everyone, this is DavidViadel23 and welcome to the Mandraos Cave. Today we are gonna be drawing Ame no Shiryu, Shiryu of the Rain. This is the swordsman of the Blackbeard pirates, the Kurohige pirates in One Piece. I have a playlist of the Blackbeard pirates that I'm trying to populate, and I wanna have a little bit of everyone, okay? I want to talk about all of them slowly. We have this space today to work more or less, okay? So we're gonna dig into it. Basically, Shiryu, I do not think it is Zoro's final enemy. That is not the final clash, okay? I'm gonna explain you why, and I'm gonna explain you how this is gonna happen, okay? First of all, let's start designing the size of the character more or less, okay? You know that I always like to do my characters sometimes more loyal to the design, sometimes a little bit more cartoon, because I enjoy it like this as well. So today probably we do a little bit more cartoony. He's a very tall guy, so we need to make sure that the size, because this is a strict character, like it's in a line, there is basically no line of action. It is not like moving like a snake, like you see, like he's very flexible. He's very rigid, he's very strict, he's very strong in the sense of the character design, so it's basically a line, a very strong line. So here, I think we have a little bit more of a space. Maybe here we can put the head more or less here, and then the hat, because he's wearing this kind of police hat. I just want to explain you a little bit who is Shiryu, okay? Shiryu, we meet him in Impel Down. Impel Down is the saga where Luffy tries to rescue Ace, that Buggy is trying to escape, that Blackbeard is as well trying to start his plan with all that happens afterwards. So basically, we meet Shiryu through some comments of Magellan. Magellan is saying that Shiryu used to be at his level a couple of years ago, but like he was as well, he was working as well with Magellan in the prison. He had like a level of power there, okay, like Magellan, but he was sadistic, violent, and basically he didn't care about anything. So he was the maximum justice, and he would execute the prisoners because he was bored. Basically, just for his pure enjoyment, he would execute. And obviously, what happens is that he ended up being locked in a cell, because that's not what you have to do. That is not your job to do, okay? Even if you have the power, Magellan says this several times, I have the power to kill anyone here, but obviously that's not what we have to do. So basically this guy ended up being locked for years there. And now, with this whole revolution in Impel Down and everything happening, all the fights happening and everything, and everyone kind of trying to escape as well, Shiryu as well was freed. And he joined the Blackbeard pirates. So he says to Blackbeard, I've been waiting for a man like you, kind of. He's been waiting for a man who doesn't care about anything about himself, and he wants to conquer everything. He wants to do whatever he wants to do. This is a very similar personality they have, those two characters. Because he joined the latest, or some sort of the latest of all of them, that doesn't mean he's the weakest, but that doesn't mean either that he is Zoro's rival. Because he is the only man or the only character in that group having a sword or being known as a swordsman, that doesn't mean he's gonna be Zoro's rival, okay? Zoro's rival can't be someone who in Hachinosu recently is getting invisible and stabbing Garp by surprise. Zoro is a guy who needs to fight face to face, and even if the enemy is being a trickster or is trying to deceive him, he will not allow these things, okay? I do not discard the idea of maybe when the face-off is gonna happen, that maybe they clash swords once or twice, and then Brook, that's my theory, Brook will step in and will say, Zoro, you have bigger things to do, leave this guy to me. Because they match very nicely with the powers that they have, okay? Shiryu got the Suke no Mi, that is the invisible fruit, from Absalom, okay? We see this in Hachinosu. Somehow they managed to capture, the Blackbeard pirates managed to capture Absalom. They managed to steal his fruit. We do not know yet if you need to kill the user to be able to take the fruit, okay? Maybe Blackbeard with his power is able to subtract or extract the power or extract the fruit as such with some sort of black hole or something, and then give it to someone else or eat it himself, okay? I don't think Absalom is dead, even if they joked about that. What we see, Katarina Devon is transformed at that moment in that scene when Gecko Moria is trying to save Absalom. Katarina Devon is transformed as Absalom and is kind of mocking Moria, and kind of, yes, master, I'm here, it's me, thanks for coming to save me, blah blah blah, but all of it is being a trap, because as well they want Moria's power, etc, etc. So what happens here is very interesting. Later, soon after that, we see the whole Garp story. Shiryu kind of is not gonna take anymore this fight happening between Garp and the rest of the guys. He transforms and in silent, because obviously he should be able to use Haki and he should be able to even masquerade or camouflage his presence as well, and that's kind of let's say a step further from invisible, because if you have Haki, observation Haki, doesn't matter if you're invisible, any of the characters with a strong Haki will see you, will anticipate your attacks, and will be able to block your attacks, okay? So, is this a type of character or type of power that fits with Zoro's abilities? No. Zoro has been shown, like Luffy, that he is Conqueror's Haki user, is developing all the Hakis as well, is kind of the strongest of them all apart from Luffy. These type of guys may have all the qualities of all the Hakis, doesn't need to be maxed out, but they will have certain level of all the Hakis. So Zoro versus Shiryu doesn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense in my idea here. What I'm trying to explain here, it wouldn't make sense. So that's why I say that we will see this face-off, that maybe Shiryu is very cocky and is gonna be saying like, oh my god, come here, I'm gonna cut you in two. And then Brook comes along and says, leave this guy for me. And you go and fight your own fight. I have this massive theory that is one of the biggest theories in the channel, my favorite theories in the channel. One of the reasons why I started, together with the mechanical ancient weapons, this is one of those theories, because I started my channel, that I'm gonna put here, and it's about Vista, okay? It's about the sword flower Vista. This is the number 5 of Whitebeard. This is a guy who is in all the flashbacks that when we have Roger, Whitebeard, and all these guys, he is there. He's fighting them all, and what's happening with all of these, in a nutshell, basically, I believe, because Vista was in Whitebeard ship and Blackbeard as well when he was a kid, okay, because Vista is older than him, I think Vista basically manipulated Blackbeard even further, like it happened with Doflamingo and Treble, and he is his number 1. He is his number 1. He is his first mate that eats 100% of the time since the very beginning on a mission. He said to him, You need to study the Akuma no Mis. You need to get this fruit while I'm trying to get blah 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 blah. He hasn't been seen. We have seen all the most important guys in the Whitebeard crew afterwards, but him and Hosu. What is the meaning of that? That he is hunting Hosu, and that's gonna be Vista the Sword Flower, who was the only person able to clash with Mihawk in the Great War, with the Diamond Fruit, with out of charts Haki. That is a rival for Zoro. When Zoro was fighting Mr. One, what happens there? Mr. One is defeated. Okay, very nice fight. I think that is my absolute Zoro favorite fight in the whole story. Better for me, in my opinion, than any other story, that any other fight that Zoro had in the manga. This for me is the best, and is very difficult to top it up. So, in that fight, when he's finished, when he's done, he says, Mr. One says, Dashbone says to Zoro, hey, oh, are you gonna now cut Diamond? And then the battle, that fight, finishes there. Later we learn that there is someone who is Diamond, that is Hosu, the number 3 of Whitebeard. But obviously Hosu is good. We don't want to kill Hosu, we don't want to fight Hosu, we don't want to face Hosu. Hosu is friend, Marco helped us. We don't want that. So, what's gonna happen there? What I'm saying, that a bad guy needs to take that fruit, needs to eat it, needs to be able to use it against Zoro. Zoro needs to cut Diamond. Zoro needs to cut Kairoseki as well, okay? I don't think there is gonna be a fruit that is Kairoseki fruit. Maybe Oda is gonna pull it out later on. And it's kind of the limit of the limit that Zoro is gonna cut, because that's the strongest material. But Diamond needs to be cut. Like steel was cut with Mr. One and everything. So, I wanna know your opinion, okay? Because I think the community, internet, everyone talks about Shiryu like he's already the final rival. And to be honest, if you look a little bit in detail, what he's been doing, how much he's been on screen, or how much time he's been shown doing things, he actually doesn't have the presence to be a final rival, okay? He doesn't have the presence, he doesn't have the introduction. We don't know him as a, oh my god, look at that swordsman. We know him as a bad guy at Magellan's level. But we know that Vista clashed with Mihawk. They clashed with Mihawk, they decided to postpone the duel. I think Vista will end up killing Mihawk before Zoro is able to face him again. And that's gonna create a lot of resentment. There's gonna be like a clash of opinions there. They decided to postpone the duel in Marineford when they were clashing, Mihawk and Vista, for later. If you are Vista, why would you allow Mihawk to attack freely all your Nakamas? Because they are not your Nakamas. Because they are not your Nakamas. In the other way, you are Mihawk, and you can say, yeah, let's postpone it. If you want to cut any of these Marines, any of these agent governments, any of these Shishio guys, I don't care, because they are not my Nakamas, they are not my friends. That's good, that's good. So, Mihawk, I think, is the one who says, to be honest, I think he's the one who says, let's postpone, and Vista says, yeah, no problem. But why he would accept? Because there is more to that story. That is me as someone who does storytelling, someone who does world building, someone who does character design and character development, so someone who actually wants to learn about the lore, everything that is happening. So, as I said, I want to know your opinion. I know it's maybe difficult to process that this quite obvious choice, it may not be that obvious choice for the end of the story. Maybe a lot of people is already marrying the idea of this guy fighting Zoro, but it doesn't match. I'm gonna tell you now something. The invisible power is a tricky one, okay? but Luffy will be sorted, Sanji will be sorted, Zoro will be sorted, Jinbei will be sorted fighting this guy, Yamato will be sorted fighting this guy as well. But there are other people who doesn't have haki, or we don't see them having haki, and they could fight this invisibility in another way. Like Frankie, like Nami, like Usopp at the moment, because Usopp is gonna develop as well haki, like Luffy, the strongest haki of them all in observation. But, what about Brook? As I said, Brook, his power is being focused a lot in the underworld concept. His power has been focused a lot with the concept of the dead. Okay, this guy was executing people in a prison who is Dante's Inferno, referring to the 7 levels of hell. So Brook fits very nice storytelling wise with this character, with this fight, with this clash. Okay, let's do the shoes here. I think I'm still in. Yeah, I'm still in the thing. Yeah, here. Like this. So I envision some sort of fight from Brook using his ice powers, because he is kind of calling forth the chills of the underworld to freeze the area, to see the steps of the invisible man on the floor, on the snow, on the ice, how he moves, to listen how he's moving around, kind of giving an epic moment to Brook. Brook is the swordsman of the crew, like Zoro, okay? Even if he's the musician, he's a swordsman as well. He always fights with a sword, even if he applies the music concept to all of his attacks. But if we play with that idea, for me, it makes much more sense that we have someone like Brook fighting this guy. Even if he is being drawn, because I've seen it, and he's been kind of... probably that's why people is taking it as reality, I would say. We have seen him in this cover story where the first in command of all the crews are there. As Marco is drawn there, Beppo is there as well, I think Killer is there, and then we have Ben Beckman is there as well. Who else was there? You know, the first mates were there. And Oda decided to include this guy there. So everyone assumed, okay, this is the first mate, blah, blah, blah. In organizations, how these things work, like in the Revolutionary Army, for example, we see, I think I'm gonna do this a little bit slimmer, because I think let's modify this a little bit, because I think I made him a little bit short for what I want to see with him. Okay, I think I prefer to do something like this, and then the belt is gonna be here on the top. Yeah, I think I like more something like this. He has a very big head, like this, with his chin, this big chin like Frankie, and this kind of decoration here. Okay, so yeah, because Oda showed him like that, I think everyone is assuming that we are gonna see that fight, and there is no other option. But if we think about it, and please tell me in the comments if you think like that as well, if it makes sense what I'm trying to explain here, because if we see something like Brook versus Shiryu fighting, it can be a challenge for Brook. Brook needs to do an effort to win, and in the other way around, if this guy is gonna fight Zoro, I don't see a problem there, to be honest. I don't see such a challenge that Zoro will be more in trouble than fighting, for example, King, let's say. You know what I mean? So I would like you to go down there to the show more section and just kind of try to start a conversation about, well, obviously your opinion, but if you think this is a little bit far-fetched and this is not gonna happen, why? Why do you think this guy, Shiryu, has the, let's say, abilities, or let's say he has the ticket, let's say, because this is like a lottery. Why would this guy have the ticket to fight the strongest swordsmen in the world, where and when we haven't seen him actually fighting with the sword much. He just stabbed Garp, he just killed in some flashback a lot of guys from Impel Down, but we actually haven't seen him fighting as a swordsman much, to be honest, okay? It will be very random. I know Oda at the moment is not focusing much in developing all of these guys from the Blackbeard crew individually, but he's gonna have to at some point. We are getting very, very, very close to the story, to the end of the story, and he's gonna have to do it very soon. So my concern is, yeah, obviously he can always now give a super flashback to Shiryu, or he can put it that because he's older generation, obviously not an old man like Garp, but he could be like a young man when all these Rocks things was happening. He could always say, oh, you know, I was with Rocks and I was blah blah blah. He always can try to pull something like that. Let's say, we all know that Oda is very wary of theories and people doing theories. And that's been known for ages. Like if you for whatever reason manage to guess something and he knows, he will just change it in the main story, and we will not see what's gonna be the original plan. Okay, so if for whatever reason Oda sees this video and says, oh my god, he got it right, and now I'm gonna change it and I'm gonna actually make Shiryu fight Zoro, he will need to introduce a concept, introduce a past, introduce a bloodthirsty character, because this is the bad guy, the final bad guy. It needs to be very, very distorted concept of a swordsman and very disloyal concept of a swordsman. He is disloyal, yeah, he is not wanting to fight face to face because he's invisible, you know. He actually decided to eat the invisible fruit to be able to sneak behind people and kill them by surprise. So important information there. Now, going back a little bit in time. At the beginning of One Piece, we have Sanji's saga. We are in the Baratie. Mihawk shows up. Zoro decides that he's gonna gamble it all and fight his goal, okay, the strongest swordsman. He's gonna fight him and he's gonna see what's gonna happen with that, okay. So he fights, he loses, and then when Mihawk is gonna kill him, he's gonna cut him in 2 pieces, and then he says, he does like this with the hands, he stretches the hands, he's holding the sword, the Wado Ichimonji in the hand, and he's saying, oh, it's like in a cross shape. And Mihawk is surprised, he's like, what are you doing? And he says, a wound in the back of a swordsman is a shame, basically. I will not give you my back so you stab me from behind. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die facing my destiny, let's say, okay? Let's kind of simplify it like that. And yeah, so that's a very shocking statement for the beginning of the series that shows you how radical and how strong-minded Zoro is, that he's like that for the whole duration of the series. And do you think Oda would match him with someone who actually doesn't care about that later on in the story? No. I know he may have enemies that are tricky, and I know he may have enemies that are trying to make a trap, kind of take advantage of the situation, and the Blackbeard pirates are some sort of that type of characters. But in this scenario, someone who is able to stab Garp by surprise, being invisible, and kind of be happy that he's done that, I don't think Zoro is gonna have not an inch of interest in fighting this guy. He could block it, as I said, he could block it once or twice, or with the sword, you know, and then once they clash, they will know each other's power, and Zoro is gonna maybe put the swords back and leave. I'll leave it. This guy is not worthy of my attention. I need to focus in something else. And then is when Brook is stepping in. The concept of honor in One Piece, it is very important. It is very remarked in many aspects, and it is something that Oda is not going to change nowadays at this time of the story. Okay, it is too important for him to change something like this. Let's do. He's kind of wearing trousers underneath, and then he has these the boots like this here as well. Yeah, something like this. I think I like it. And we connected this area here. Okay, I'm painting it in black because he's. I'm taking the concept, the idea from the design in Impel Down. Okay, but I wanna make him with the colors from now that he's with Blackbeard. Okay, this is some lines here. It's gonna be like a typical One Piece skull here, and as well on the head and on the laps here. All of this I will do it nicer with the pen, obviously. But it's looking nice. I like the drawing. It's looking nice. As I said it, I've done it a little bit more cartoon, a little bit more chibi, let's say. Let's do. The cape here goes at the back like this. Let's do like this and like this. Okay, and we have the buttons. Two. And then there are 3 here in total. Okay, I think we have the sketch more or less, and with this I can start coloring a little bit and add some darkness to the character. We'll do the fine line in a moment. Okay. Then we need to do skulls everywhere. I think maybe I start first with those skulls. Okay. We are going to be using, as usual, 0.2 Unipin fine liner. We normally use 0.1, sometimes as well 0.2, but for this guy, I think this could work. So let's do, he's wearing gloves as well, so the hands are going to be a little bit like this, because he's lighting the cigar. I love these characters with the cigars, like a smoker, this guy. Oda has like some kind of very nice technique to draw them, but I like it very much. Like this, these lips. Okay. The eye is gonna be very, very, very tiny there. Very kind of bad guy eyes like this. Like a hawk. He has a little bit the eyes like a hawk, like a predator, like a shark. The nose is pointy like Hody Jones. Okay, it's like, this is like an arrow. Everything, you know, the design of the hat, the design of the nose. He is kind of focusing in his prey. He's a predator. Okay, he is like a shark, like a lion. More like a shark, and you need to understand that the concept of Impel Down being underwater in the ocean, and this is basically the biggest predator in the sea, in the oceans, is the white shark as well, like the orca. We have the orca as well. So these kind of characters, I love when Oda does these things, because in general, if you are watching One Piece, you are enjoying One Piece, like normal, good, this is very nice. But if you are actually watching it like I do, it is the details that he puts, the reference from animals, the reference from different countries, the specific type of colors, the specific types of powers depending of the natural state or the natural ability of someone. It is splendid. I love it. I always say it, and I will always say it, that this guy Oda is a titan of storytelling. Titan of storytelling. So let's do the design for here. Now the wings, and it has like a tiny crown as well that we're gonna draw here. Like this. He's actually not even wearing his boss emblem. He's wearing his own emblem. So these guys are like the Rocks Pirates. They go for their own. No mercy. And I envision as well an internal clash. 100%. 100%. Let's do the coat that he has on top like this. Okay. Feel free to ask questions about One Piece, about art in general. Feel free as well to request if you want to see a specific character being drawn, a specific character being talked through here, a theory, let's say. I would check it, obviously, and if I know about the character, if I can actually talk about the character, I am more than happy to do so. So that is an invitation as well to the channel, to all of you. We went up a couple of subscribers, so welcome everyone. Thank you everyone. Thank you very much for everyone for following the updates, following the videos, following the theories, and following the progress that we are doing here in the channel. I appreciate it very much. I appreciate as well the interactions. Like, I've seen people sharing it, I've seen people stopping me as well when they've seen me and asking me questions about, you know, the videos and things. That is very nice. And it is as well good that we are in some sense like let's say like a small family here, like a small channel here, and I can reply to all of you and everything, and I can take in consideration all the things that you wanna see here in the channel. Okay, I'm doing these drawings obviously because I'm drawing all the time and I wanna share it with you, but as well for you to see and to engage in conversation. What do you wanna see? Just feel free to share it in the comments and let's open conversation. Okay, let's do the hat. Let's do the hat. I'm gonna put the Blackbeard playlist here on the side because I haven't put it yet, and I have already Lafitte, I have Blackbeard. I think I have 2 or 3 guys, and I wanna keep doing videos of them as well because I have already a playlist with the Straw Hats, with our guys that I'm gonna put here as well. But obviously, if these guys are gonna be the rival, the final rival of Luffy and company, it makes sense that we have a full playlist with some theories and everything. Now, in the recent episodes, we've been shown. Obviously, if you are not up to date, I've been already talking about the spoilers, but this is gonna be obviously full of spoilers because we are up to date here in the channel, obviously. So, Imu says, and I mentioned this in my latest episode as well, Imu says that we have Marijoa in flames, in a sea of flames, okay? What does that mean? Is someone attacking? Is Sabo attacking? Is Dragon attacking? Someone is attacking or someone is doing something there, okay? Last time we see Lafitte, that is in that playlist I just showed you there. Last time we saw Lafitte, he is given green light, he's given instructions by Blackbeard, he says, yes, start. So he is gonna make a plan there. The plan, I think, completely honesty, I think the plan is to help the world government, help the Kurohige to destroy these blockades that the Revolutionary Army is doing. Kind of sell their services, like, oh, we will bodyguard this area for you. The payment is that Blackbeard is going to become king of Hachinosu, and later they will trick them to be able to access the frozen straw hat that we don't know what it is, and it is still a mystery. Okay, so that is my thing, my idea, or why I think that that's going to happen like that, and they want to have access there. Okay, because Blackbeard wants to be the king of the world. But let's not forget, and I said it as well in multiple videos, that this is a story about pirates. We need to defeat the world government, yes, we need to face the world government, yes, but especially we need to leave Blackbeard and these guys for the very, very, very end, okay? I know this opinion maybe as well, a little bit. People may have different opinions, and people may think that, oh no, we're actually, Imu is the final bad guy, and blah blah blah. But, you know, I've been watching One Piece for a very, very long time, and I consider this a pirate show, pirate story. So it makes sense for me that we are gonna see something like that. Okay, I'm gonna add some lines here to this area. Okay, and then the boots. I made a very nice video about Magellan that I'm gonna put here as well, because I can't talk about Shiryu and not mention Magellan. I mentioned him a couple of times. Magellan, I think, is like the 6th Yonko. He is almost invincible, not even having crazy haki or distance attacks. You may be able to defeat him because he has the gases that he can kind of, you know, start expelling these gases and maybe knock you out basically, and you can't do anything basically about that. You can't avoid. You can't hold your breath. This is the problem that we have with Caesar Clown as well. You couldn't get close to him because he was eliminating all the air with the gas, and everyone was fainting because they had no oxygen. So this is something very similar with Magellan. So I love it. I want to see him more. Now it's all tangled with Doflamingo, with you know what's gonna happen. I think, and I mentioned it in the video as well, I think he needs to save them all, take them all out from Impel Down. That's Doflamingo's chance to escape with the rest of the guys that are trapped there, and he is not gonna let, because he's a good guy. At the end of the day, we have seen that he's a good guy. He's not gonna be happy. He's not gonna be happy if we leave people inside the prison, even if they are bad guys, to die. Okay, so I think it's 100% sure that once Imu starts moving harder, I would say, once the level of water is going up, and this is already at the end of the story, Magellan is gonna have to call it and take them out, take them all out. Even if he's not the warden anymore, that now we have Hannibal there, doesn't matter. Hannibal is kind of a joke character, and he will need to ask help from Magellan. Okay, so we have this one, we have this one, we have this one. There should be another one here, but obviously the hands are on the front. I don't think he has one here. I think he has, yeah, he has like Gold Roger, this kind of type of design here as well. We can do it like this. Maybe there is one tiny here, maybe. Anyway, let's do it anyway. You know, why not? And here. Yeah, why not? It looks nice, to be honest, so why not put it there? This is the last part that I'm missing. Okay. Linework is normally the process it takes less time to do, because we already have spent most of the time doing a nice character, and now with the, let's say, remaining time, we just need to do these remarks. Okay, but it's looking nice. I like it very much. I think now I fancy jumping into 0.8, and I fancy doing the design for the cape, let's say for this cloak design. Okay, so we're just gonna do like this. I wanna leave, he has these buttons, old style buttons, that I'm gonna leave like this, because we are gonna paint it. We're gonna paint it. This is another skeleton, another full of skulls there. Again, Oda plays with symbolism again all the time. So, do you see how many of these little skulls I've been doing? Why? Because it's Brook's face is his final enemy that he's gonna have to defeat at the end of the story. Oda does this all the time, so I don't see this guy fighting Zoro. I just want to do like a quick a quick recap of what we've been talking today, because we've been talking about many things, okay? Basically, Shiryu of the Rain, Ame no Shiryu, this guy, everyone thinks is the first in command of the the Blackbeard pirates, the Kurohige pirates. Wrong. He, as I said before, the Revolutionary Army and the chain of command, they have the chief of staff, that is basically the chief of staff is the first in command. That should be Lafitte in the Blackbeard pirate. He is the one who is kind of confirming what we're gonna do with Blackbeard. Both of them talk, we do this, yes, we do this, no, and they decide. The other guys, they don't have the power to decide any of this, okay? And then second thing here is the concept of Vista. Vista, I think, is the senior member. Vista is the guy who made Blackbeard like he is now, and he is the guy who is gonna fight Zoro. Why? Well, we have plenty of videos. I'm gonna put the Vista video here. If I haven't put it before, but I'll put the video of Vista here. If not, I'll put the Zoro one there, and you will understand, because in those videos I'll go a little bit more in detail. I'm not talking about specifics of Shiryu there. I'm talking only about Vista and all the reasons why, and I invite you to check it because it's very interesting. So let's do the inside of the cape. The inside of the cape, I may do a little bit of gray as well, like to kind of differentiate, like this. Like with this one that I've been using as a pencil, I can do this like this, you know. And then the top one, I will do with probably with a little bit of pure black. It's gonna be looking nice. This and like this, okay. So yeah, as I said, Vista, I think is gonna be coming out pretty soon. We want surprises with Blackbeard pirates. We want things that are gonna leave us in shock, like, oh, I wasn't expecting this, or oh my god, I never suspected that maybe this guy or the other guy. We are not following all the time what these guys are doing, and that is on purpose. That is something because we are going to be focusing in them at the very end of the story. We will not see all of them having flashbacks, but we need to have some sort of flashbacks of most of them, because we want to pair them with Luffy, with Sanji. These are individual fights, and I talk about this in all of the videos that I talk about the Blackbeard pirates, in the Lafitte one as well, in the Blackbeard one as well, about the Kraken and everything. So I invite you to check them because they are very interesting, and it is not like a normal video, like a normal theory. I think this is kind of a supreme theory or something like that, because the context of the story. These are the bad guys. These are the ones that we are gonna see, I don't know, in 3, 4, 5 year times when we are finishing the story. These are the guys that we are gonna have to face and defeat, and the matchups need to be very thoughtful. I don't think there is anyone at the moment that can match Zoro's power in this crew. I'm not talking about, oh, Aokiji versus Zoro. Aokiji versus Zoro doesn't make sense, okay? I have a full video on Aokiji and what's going on with him here as well. It doesn't make sense. So for Zoro you need to fight a swordsman, and this swordsman here, it is not at the caliber of what we need, basically. I'm gonna try to find like maybe this blue. Let me see if I have the other blue here. I think this is actually the blue. Maybe this one or this one. Let me check one next to each other. Maybe I want to use this to see how it looks. Yes, so I'm gonna do it is blue, more pale blue, and the buttons, so I don't forget, they go in yellow. But I'm gonna do pale blue, then I'm gonna do dark black on top, so it will give us this kind of sense. Oh, forgot about the crown. How did I forget about the crown? He has like these tiny crowns here. Here and here, not in the other ones. Okay. So this is pirate outfit. Gold, 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 gold. All of it full of gold. Gold here, more gold. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, okay. So feel free as well to sail through the channel, check all the rest of the theories that I have about, you know, mechanical ancient weapons, about the Scopper Kaban and everything. Scopper Kaban is a very, very important part of this theory about Shiryu, because Scopper Kaban has confirmed in 1151 that he is the strongest of the Gold Roger pirates, okay, above Rayleigh. Rayleigh may be the most clever, let's say, or the one who plans, or the one with the reputation. If he's not joking, obviously there is like this Sanji and Zoro kind of funny moments as well, like in everywhere. But if he's telling the truth and he is the number one of the crew, with who is he clashing all the time? The number one of Gold Roger, Scopper Kaban, with who is he clashing all the time when they are fighting Whitebeard? Exactly, with Vista, the sword flower, okay? So, many points connect these characters. Many fights and moments are kind of entangling them, and all the subtle decisions of Oda while moving forward with Vista or with moving forward with Mihawk. Vista is moving in this way, Mihawk is moving in this way, Shiryu is moving in this way, you know, Zoro is moving in this way. Everything is moving in a way that is gonna end up in the same moment, with all of them needing to kind of decide who is gonna fight who, and I find it very interesting, very interesting. Zoro is one of those characters that is the favorite of everyone. You know, everyone loves Zoro, everyone wants to see more of Zoro, and people is gonna be paying more attention to Zoro than Frankie, for example, or to Brook. Who is gonna fight Brook at the end of the story? You know, whatever, we don't care much. Whoever Oda decides is gonna be fine for us. But Zoro? Zoro, everyone is thinking about who is gonna fight Zoro. This guy's gonna fight Zoro. No, this guy's gonna fight Zoro. I find it very funny when I watch a video or something online, or when I see something where someone sends me something as well, like, look at this. I find it very, very funny, because I could be completely mistaken, okay? I tell it as well at the beginning, I could be completely mistaken, but there are things, there are connections that are unavoidable, okay? This reminds me a little bit like in the Avengers movie, when we are fighting Thanos and he says that he is inevitable, that whatever we do, he is gonna do his thing, you know, he's gonna win anyway. So this is one of those things, like, whatever we decide or whatever we wanna think, this guy is not Zoro's rival. This guy is not at his level. This guy cannot handle him, and the way of fighting is too dirty. And we, as a fan of One Piece, for like 30 years, 27 years that this is already going on, for us fans, we do not want to see a tricky, full of traps, trickster type of fight for Zoro. We don't want to see someone that is blocking his attacks with invisibility, or with traps, or with things, or someone who is putting in front of him another person for Zoro to cut it. That is the type of person that Shiryu is. What we want for a final fight with Zoro is epicness. Is epicness, basically. Is Goku versus Vegeta. We don't want to see something different. We want to see a clash of swordsmen. And I'm talking about this because you can say, oh no, the final Zoro fight is gonna be Mihawk. It can't be Mihawk. he needs to surpass Mihawk first, that I think he already did in the training. He needs to surpass Mihawk first, okay, and then face the final enemy, that is the Blackbeard Pirates. Mihawk is not his final enemy. Mihawk is not, it cannot be his final enemy, okay, because there is no beef, like there is no Mihawk didn't kill someone that the Zoro loved. Mihawk didn't, I don't know, any of these. Our Shiryu is looking a little bit blue, but just trust me, just give me 1 second. The cigar. The face. Here. The neck. Okay, we need to paint this gray because this is the other flap that he has here on the side. And just give me 1 second because we are gonna now do the blacks, the Blackbeard Pirates. I love the Blackbeard Pirates, I have to say. If I have to say favorite pirates in the whole story, you know, obviously I love Luffy and the guys, but as well the Buggy Pirates and the Blackbeard Pirates. Like Oda confirmed many times that his favorite pirates in the story of One Piece are Buggy and Blackbeard. These two guys are especially representing the real concept of pirates. The Buggy escaping to fighting tomorrow, like Jack Sparrow. This is something that they used to be. The pirates weren't just going crazy and attacking straight away and that's it. They were like scavengers, let's say. They would attack here, go by surprise around, make a trap, things like this. The Blackbeard Pirates as well, with the concept of Hachinosu and the parallelism with the real island of Nassau in the Caribbean Sea in the 1550s as well. That is something that Oda is taking from reality and making Hachinosu. Okay, Beehive Island, the island that Blackbeard is controlling at the moment, the island that he took as a home territory. Something about Hachinosu very funny is that God Valley, Rocks and everyone go there as well to God Valley to recover a treasure from Hachinosu. The treasure from Hachinosu could very well be one of the fruits that they were giving away. If this is true, we already know some of the fruits that were in God Valley. In this case, the dragon fruit, well, the fish fruit model, the koi that is basically the dragon that Kaido has. We have the Ivankov fruit as well there. So I think the other fruit, the fruit that the fruit that Rocks was thinking about there, the fruit that was the treasure of Hachinosu is Chopper's fruit, the Hito-Hitonomi, and that's gonna be the panacea, who is gonna be able to heal everyone in the world, because he's gonna be one of these gods, like Luffy is one of these gods, like Imu is one of these gods, like Blackbeard could be one of these gods as well. Okay, so it makes sense for me because if you remember at the beginning of the story, when we go into Drum Island Saga, there is a very short comment of, oh my god, there has been a pirates that they've been here, they've been ransacking the whole around, blah blah blah, and that was Blackbeard. Blackbeard went to Drum, probably because he had already he had some clues of Chopper's fruit being there, that Hito being there. Maybe Blackbeard thought that Hito that disappeared there in Drum was the Hito-Hitonomi model Nika. That's why he was looking for, probably. But he didn't even know exactly. He's just following, he's a fanboy of Rock, so he may be just following information that he gathered. We need to remember as well that Blackbeard, his interests is archaeology, like Nico Robin. So if Oda wants to pull now that maybe he can read poneglyphs because he's a scholar as well, and in secret he's been training and learning and studying and everything, It could be. It wouldn't surprise me, because why would you put him this ability, this interest, this kind of curiosity, if he's not gonna use it at all in any moment in the story? So it makes sense for me as well, something like that. But as I said, Blackbeard was looking for the Hito, I think, all along, and as well I think even his story originally at the beginning, like, oh, he found the Yummy and he knew this was the fruit of the darkness and he decided to eat it because he could have multiple fruits, blah blah blah. Yes, but after the surprise with the GR5, after the surprise with the Nika fruit, after the surprise of the Gomu Gomu not being Gomu Gomu. I don't discard anything. I don't discard anything anymore, because Oda is someone who has this innate ability to surprise me. To surprise me and to give me a lot of joy with the things that he makes. And I will like it. I will like it. If he says no, Blackbeard actually he the whole time was trying to find the Hitonomi model Nika. That's why the fruit is very similar and the fruit of the color is the same. Both of them are purple, because he got confused. He got confused like Buggy got confused as well. And his fruit as well is very similar to the Yummy. So these characters are completely connected. These three characters, Buggy, Blackbeard, and Luffy, are obviously end game, end of the story. These three need to be at the end of the story. And I can't wait to see what's gonna happen with that. Let's see. I think we are kind of done. I just want to maybe add some shadows here to the face, make it a little bit more dark. This is a dark guy, a dark character. Make the smoke a little bit like this, smoking with the cigar here. We may do obviously a little bit of flame here, because he's lighting up the cigar as well there. And for the tongue here, we can do a couple of lines probably to define the teeth as well. I have 2 recommendations pending, guys, that I know you put it in the comments some weeks ago. I will be doing them. I'm not gonna say who are they, but they already know who they are, and the characters as well. I'm planning on talking about them. One of them is connected to this guy, and I like it. We can do a analysis of the character instead of a theory, because there is not much theory to do about that specific character, but we can do like a analysis of what has this guy been doing, and what happened to him, and where is him at the moment, and blah 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 blah. And yeah, I have, I think, two of those characters I have. Let's do... Oh, I really like it. You see, this darkness achieved this kind of navy blue color that we wanted with the original design of Shiryu. If you think as well that I'm completely wrong, say it. Say it in the comments. Let's open a conversation, a debate. Don't say, oh, you're wrong and that's it. Just say why, and put some valid reasons or valid points. Maybe I missed something at some point in the story with Shiryu that, oh yeah, he's gonna actually be a pretty cool character to fight with Zoro at the end of the story, and that's it. But not even the type of design fits for me, in my opinion. I still think he will do more damage soon. He's gonna be doing damage soon to confuse you more, to confuse the reader more. Like, oh my god, when this guy's gonna fight Zoro, we will see, it's gonna be so cool. But it's not gonna happen. Zoro's story is a story about honor and everything, and this guy is not gonna fight a guy without honor. A guy who is not caring or is not interested in honor is not gonna fight the guy who only cares about basically honoring and respecting, and his promise is his dream is to become this best swordman of the world, because he made a promise with honor. He's keeping it with honor. And you think his final fight is gonna be against someone who has no honor? Meh, no. Man, it will be very sad. It will be very sad for me if this is not true, because now I'm gonna have to imagine if this guy is the final fight, and I'm gonna have to swallow my words there and say, you know, whatever. Maybe he makes it in a way that I like, but at first glance, not at first glance, like investigating a lot and reading One Piece like in all the details that I can read, and you know, trying to find everything, I don't see that happening, to be honest. I think we're done. Let's do. I think we are done. I didn't even draw the sword. Why? Because he's not the Soros guy, you know. A Vista, we draw 2 swords. And as well, this is Itoryu, 1 sword style. Vista is Nitoryu, 2 swords style. Zoro is Santoryu. Do I wanna see one guy fighting like this with 1 sword, like Kuina, for the final enemy? No, I prefer to see dual swords fighting, clashing, and like we see with Mihawk, very, very nice. The focus of Oda in Mihawk versus Vista in Marineford, it is not random. That is what I want for Zoro at the end of the story. The duel is gonna continue, Mihawk is not gonna be able to cut Diamond, Mihawk will die in front of Zoro most probably. Vista will kill him, and then Zoro will get like, yeah, now I have another enemy. You crush my dreams here. We want drama. We want like, oh my god, what's gonna happen now? Who is gonna Zoro have to defeat? The new guy. We're gonna see that, and it's gonna be epic. And Shiryu for Brook. Invisibility, you know, no kind of masquerading, camouflaging his aura, his haki, his presence, his everything. And Brook with the chill of the underground, with his ghost form, with his music and everything, trying to find him, trying to discover where he's hiding and cutting him in silence. And then while he cuts him, he then appears from the invisibility, bleeding, boom, and falls on the floor. That is how Brook is gonna be epic. That's what I want to see with Brook. Who is gonna fight Brook if not someone like that? Itoryu versus Itoryu, 1 sword style versus 1 sword style. This guy is blue, is black, the sword is red, like dripping blood. Brook is kind of ice tone, like pale blue. The contrast of the colors, the blood on the ice, very poetic. Brook singing. Brook basically is here. It's everywhere in this character. It's everywhere. I wanna know your opinion, please. Let's do this. Smoke there. I think we're done. I think I don't want to touch it more. I think we're done. Let's sign for today, okay? This is DavidViadel23, DavidViadel23. You can say it as you want. And this is the Mandragon's Cave. I hope you like the drawing, you enjoy the theory. Feel free to share it with your friends, with your nakamas, with your family, with everyone. And let's open conversation, okay? Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.